With the recent strike of voice actors in the video game industry, I've been asked by several of my colleagues about my take on it. But before I dive into it, I want to give light on what all this is about to show all the angles involved in the situation. You can fast forward to this timestamp if you just want to hear my honest opinion on the matter. Okay, let's jump into it. This strike is about AI voice being used to replace human voices. I say replace because it is what it is. Replace. To better understand the different perspectives, I'll break down why it works or not for the involved parties. And yes, this includes you as the gamer or not, and you'll see why in the end. Whether you know it or not, the production process is expensive and time-consuming. It's not as easy as finding someone across the street who can voice for the project. Of course, these production studios will need professionals who bring life, who bring an experience that is unforgettable, and bring value to the finished product. Getting back to the time needed for the completion, it starts from the auditioning process to find the right voice actor for the role or roles. And once they've made their selection or selections, the studio will see if the rates from the voice actors are within budget for the project, checking their availability depending on where they are in the world. Editing, which could take days, weeks, months, depending on the size of the game, all the way to the end with the hurdle of getting approvals from the higher-ups. If there are any changes that are needed from the bosses, then they resume to whichever step mentioned. I'm telling you, it's a really long and tedious process, believe me. So I completely get why there are studios that are looking to use AI voice for video games. It saves time and a whole lot of money, plus they will own the full rights to the voice and won't need the human voice to come in for another session for a retake, as the AI voice can easily do it for them. Nor will the studio have to deal with residuals or royalties after the game is finished. I don't have to mention the obvious that this shift from human voices to AI voice will put the voice actor out of a job. Well, that's not the main issue here. Using AI voice in video games will just lessen the number of projects they normally get, but not completely remove them from the picture, as these voice actors, myself included, will always have other avenues to voice, like in commercials for TV and radio, audio dramas, IVRs, and whatever else. The main issue here is the unlicensed reproduction of the voice actor's voice in making future games in that franchise. You see, the initial contract before the production process was that the voice belonged to the studio for that specific game, with session fees for the completion of the game and royalty fees in place once the game comes out and stays in the market. Notice how I put air quotes on belong to the studio for that specific game? That will still be true if the studio used an AI voice to clone the original human voice. Though the royalties or residuals may still be in place, what is taken from the human voice are the session fees and their right to say no. If you're saying, well, the royalty fees are still in there, right? If you didn't know, and I might as well tell you, nobody gets rich from royalty fees, as far as I know. The studios having the ability and access to using AI voice for cloning just takes so much from the voice actors, their IP, their livelihood, and their right. Luckily, there are still some studios that are still supporting voice actors by implementing artificial voice writers, which state that they are not going to use their voices for AI cloning. After hearing both sides, you as an onlooker also have an angle to this, and you may think, I don't really care. I just want to play my games. That is totally valid and understandable. But if you really love your video games and the characters you play, you might want to know what's going on in the back. Let's say your favorite video game character is Super Mario, who is voiced by Charles Martinet, and you find out that something is happening to him, whether it's his health, he's feeling sad, or something unpleasant. Wouldn't you care to support or at least show some compassion to his situation? Be it that he had given you all the joy for all those gaming moments. Setting aside the emotion of the situation, let's check how this affects you for real as a consumer, and this time I'll use food as an analogy. Let's say you enjoy eating that piece of fried chicken. It's your go-to whenever you feel hungry, and it's your favorite. Well, what if you find out that it's not real chicken? Everything tastes like chicken anyways, so why not use a substitute that could cost less for the establishment? You wouldn't mind anyway, right? You'd still get that same taste and experience. Or would you mind? Now you're getting the bigger picture here as a consumer and onlooker, right? Getting back to the main topic. Whether you enjoy playing the game with human voices or AI voices is up to you. If you still get the same experience, then that's what matters. But shouldn't you be made aware that the voices used in the video game be announced to you? The same way that any restaurant should tell you that you're not eating real chicken? It's your right as a consumer to know what you are consuming, because if you know what happens in the production process in order for you to enjoy your experience, then that too helps you understand the work that's been put in for you to enjoy. Because if you know that something not good happened in the background, would you honestly say that you will enjoy the gaming experience? Think about it. Now that you've seen and heard all three angles of how AI voice is being used in the video game industry, here's my opinion. Both as a voice actor and a radio producer myself, I fully understand both sides of the spectrum here. Studios want to save time and money. Same for me. I would be saving money for my company as well as make the turnaround time much faster. Voice actors will be losing their source of income. Same with me. I could lose my regular clients should they decide to take on AI voices. As a gamer, I would want to be assured that the voice actors of the games I love are okay. The likes of Tasia Valencia, who played Sniper Wolf in the Metal Gear Solid game, Amelia Gotham, who fantastically voiced Mipha in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Goodness, I fell in love with her portrayal. And Charles Martinet, who is globally known as the voice of Mario, Super Mario. All of these guys and the many others who have made my gaming more enjoyable, and in return, I support them for the joy they have given me. Remember the time when Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, passed away? He made a huge imprint and blueprint of how Batman should sound like, and he just made our childhood love for comics justified. Would I want my idols to go through that alone? No. So I stand with the strike for union and non-union voice actors. I stand with them because I support them as a fan, a voice actor, and as a producer myself. The studios, while thinking to use technology to help the expedition of the production process, and of course the cost, should still consider how they are also treating the people working behind the scenes and their service to their customers.